Uh, General, the issue of the AP investigation, or actually the investigation into the illegal disclosure of classified information. To conduct that investigation, the Justice Department has various tools, among which is the subpoena. And a subpoena can be issued without judicial oversight, and it was through a subpoena that the Justice Department obtained phone records from the carrier that related to certain personnel at the Associated Press. Is that correct?
Again, I assume that that is correct. I am not familiar with the investigation.
Well, subpoena is what we know that the information was compiled from. Now, we can, or the Justice Department has the lawful authority by way of subpoena power to obtain those records. Is that correct?
The Justice Department does have that. Does have
yes.
Subpoena power? Yes.
So it's legal for the Justice Department to obtain that information, but it certainly could cast a cool breeze over the First Amendment rights of freedom of the speech and freedom of the press. And that's why we have some special rules with respect to the issuance of subpoenas by law enforcement to obtain information from media sources. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, without getting into the AP case, for lack of a better term, because the case is really not about the AP, it's about the people who leaked.
Correct.
Be that as it may, there's a recognition within the Justice Department that in dealing with, interacting with the press, that you're dealing with a special entity and that there have to be special rules about how that interaction occurs.
And those rules are by way of regulation, not by way of legislation. Correct?
That's correct.
And that being the case, it might be a good thing for Congress to visit that issue and to determine whether or not we want to turn those guidelines and regulations into law. And now, you made an important distinction. You said that the crime that is being investigated, well, you didn't say this, but I'll say this, is not the publishing of the information, of the classified information, but it was actually the leaking of the classified information, which is the basis of your investigation, correct?
That's correct.
But now, we also have an old law that would allow for prosecution of anyone who published the classified information. Isn't that correct?
You got a long way to go to try to prosecute people, the press, for the publication of that material. Those prosecutions have not fared well in American history.
Well, I would argue that the Espionage Act of 1917 would authorize the prosecution of anyone who disclosed classified information, and perhaps that's another area that we may need to take action on here in this Congress. Now, note that in this Congress we've had a lot of bills. The most famous of which, in my mind, was the helium legislation, and we wanted to ensure that we had enough helium to keep everything moving forward here in America. But we certainly need to protect the privacy of individuals, and we need to protect the ability of the press to engage in its First Amendment responsibilities, to be free and to give us information about our government so as to keep the people informed. And I think it's a shame that we get caught up in so-called scandals and oversight of unimportant matters when we should be here addressing these real problems that things like the AP scandal illustrate for us. I'll yield the balance of my time to you.
Well, I would say this. With regard to the potential prosecution of the press for the disclosure of material, that is not something that I've ever been involved in, heard of, or would think would be a wise policy. In fact, my view is quite the opposite, that what I proposed during my confirmation, what the Obama administration supported during 2009, and I understand, I think Senator Schumer is now introducing a bill that we are going to support as well, that the press there should be a shield law with regard to the press's ability to gather information and to disseminate it. The focus should be on those people who break their oaths and put the American people at risk, not reporters who gather this information. That should not be the focus of these investigations.
Time of the gentleman has expired. The chair now recognizes